might be a little depressing for you, so just get ready for it, but we're going to talk about it anyway. So the dirty secret is this. Most of your team will disappoint you eventually.
How true that is.
It's a good tie-in, as I was making that segue, it wasn't totally off, the cuff, I guess, in terms of kids, because kids will often disappoint you too, right? And that's one of those very cuts to the chase kind of things. Nothing worse than disappointing your parents, right? So to think that your employees, which at times people think about their employees almost like their kids to a certain extent, and so they're going to disappoint you. Even the good ones are going to disappoint you at times, right?
Well, eventually, I think we can chat about it like we're going to do here, and it's not all bad. It's not all bad. Disappointment isn't all bad. Before we get to how it isn't all bad, let's talk about how.
We have different examples. We have different examples of where it can be very, very tough. Okay, and especially when it comes to small companies, because often you have family and friends and people who are close to you, and those can be particularly biting or tough. When a sibling, when a child, when a cousin, when a good friend who's again outside of the business disappoints you, doesn't quite live up to what you're hoping for them to do, and we've seen that happen a lot.
Well, the big thing is why. Why does that happen? Well, there's basically self-interest. That's the big driver. Self-interest is really what's going to change people's lives. And along with that, their goals and their relationships. That's why eventually people will disappoint you. And it doesn't mean a dagger in the heart all the time. Sometimes it does. But sometimes your long-standing partners decided to head up in another direction after X years. And oh boy, that's going to be a lonely feeling if you've been together for a while, that kind of stuff. Or if there's health issues, and often spouses, are a big part of what drives change. And again, that change is geared to self-interest, and I have to do this. It's time, Adam, or whatever the case may be here. And there's problems outside of just health, financial problems, just a reflective period. One of their good friends dies, or one of their friends hits something and it makes you think. You go away for a while and you come back and, hey, I got to do things different in my life. And it's usually that break off. It's usually that break versus the stab in the heart. Those are obvious ones. Those are.
We get those, but you also, I think we've seen it a lot, Jack, with a lot of our clients when they're going through some pretty good growth phases. One of the things we focus a lot on, and it's one of our 7 keys to success, is the organization plan. And what that means is kind of getting the right people on board. And there's a certain point when you're running your company that you've got to have good people for you to keep on growing. Because at some point, there's only one of you. If you have a partner like Jack's mentioned, there's 2 of you, but only so much you can do. You need a good team around you. And so we had a client that's been a client for us for a long time, and early on they'd gotten one of those kind of breaking points where they'd got some good people on board, and they had a key guy who basically quit on them. It was an exciting time. Things are going really well, and they're laying out their vision. Here's where we're trying to go with the company, and we think you can be a key part in helping us get there. And he said, I don't think I'm the guy to help get you there. Okay, so what do you do?
That big empty feeling, and it's
so you're all excited. All of a sudden, you now get a punch in the gut. And so, for this particular case, what happened was it was viewed as a negative by the staff. The rest of the team was now mad at the owners. Well, the owners didn't do anything wrong. They're saying, look, the guy quit on us. Why are you mad at me? All of a sudden, things are going to be going. It's like, holy cow, So that happens a lot. Things like that.
It's a feeling of sadness, really, when you peel it all back. You have these great expectations. You're pumped up going forward. You just did a plan for next year, and things are going pretty well. And all of a sudden, she pulls the rug out from under you and gives you news that, hey, my husband is moving to Japan or whatever it's going to. And so it's a sadness that takes over, and a God bless it. It's just. Now I got to pick it up, and that euphoric feeling of optimism and looking ahead and just getting ready, chomping at the bit to get going, all of a sudden gets wiped out. Now you got to regroup again. And then because of that, I was telling that early on here, that disappointment.
Give me some positive stuff, Jack. Come on, I'm getting kind of depressed here. Why don't you liven us up and pump us up a little bit? How can it be positive?
Well, you can. It helps you manage your expectations. Now we know several people personally who are so optimistic that from a business standpoint that it just gets in the way. You have to take expectations and sprinkle it with reality. And when you get disappointed the next time through that best opportunity in the world comes along, you're going to be a little skeptical for good reasons. And it kind of puts the gears in your mind working in a way that's going to be more preserving here, and it's going to make you a better person by going through those. Because life isn't, as we all know, one big easy ride. That's one good thing about it.
Okay, hold on. So expectations. Okay, so I think part of what happens when you have good people, there's a big relief that happens, because often you as the owner, it said, the visual of Atlas carrying the world on his shoulders, right? And so if you have somebody who's good, you can take a part of that and offload it off your shoulders to somebody else. It's like, it feels so good to have that. So yeah, when you have somebody good, you want to give them more. I think what you're saying, Jack, is okay. Well, be careful how you let those things off your shoulders. Don't dump it all on somebody and you walk away, because chances are they aren't going to be able to support it.
Yeah,
right?
It helps define what is good for you and what isn't good for you. In other words, the feeling coming out of this thing is going to be deeper for some things other than others. And it's that recognition that basically can allow you to kind of analyze your own passion. I don't, how I feel about that word, but using it in this context. It's something that tells me, because of the depth that I feel and disappointed with the circumstances here, it tells me I really do like this thing. It's going to make me try hard. Those are good things. So those really are good things about disappointment.
So it's going